Hello, welcome to Kletus Roadside service. Today is Tuesday. Really, I feel like it should be Wednesday by now, but it's only Tuesday, which is fine. Not a lot has been going on. You would think a lot had happened, so it feels like, you know, I would expect a lot going on. Not a whole lot, so I'll just start off where I kind of left off. Um, Made it to my hotel up in Wichita after I got offloaded. Um, the injury that I received by my own hand, it's still there. I'm still monitoring it. It doesn't seem to be getting worse. When I woke up in the hotel in the morning, uh, it's like, I don't know. It started to scab up a little bit, which I think is good. I think I want it to scab up and start, work on healing back. Uh, but I don't know. It hasn't been bothering me, but it's been noticeable on my face, and it's right. Oh, like, so when I said it was on my chin, it's more like a little bit above my chin, off to the left side. It's like more on my lip, and I chew tobacco, so I'm like, and I do chewing tobacco on my left side, my right side. I move it around all the time, and whenever it scabs up, and I you know move that tobacco over to that side, it kind of stretches it out. Don't really like that. It ain't bleeding or anything, but I don't know. Just been a little bothersome. And if you're not, if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, you're gonna need to go listen to the episode one right before this one. It's called "I'm No Doctor." Anyways, last night went pretty well. I didn't want to go anywhere though. I really didn't want pizza, and that's the only option, other than like wings or just like stuff from the gas station, or like the bomb burrito or whatever from the Holiday Inn fucking concierge place. It's like they want $8. I don't know what they want. I've never bought one, but they overcharge you for that shit down there, and it's like I might as well just take 5 minutes to walk across the street and grab something over there, but at the gas station, because that's the only thing nearby. But I decided, nah, I don't want no pizza or wings, or I don't even want to walk. Yesterday was a long one. It was a 14-hour day. It wasn't, 14 hours, but not a lot of like stress or anything. Just kind of doing my thing, sitting in the truck, uh, like physical stress. But mental stress, I don't know. There is mental stress that comes along with driving a truck for a long time on the road, especially when I've been doing it quite a bit. This run where a lot of miles. It's not. I know there's a lot of truck drivers out there that are real truckers that get way more than me, and their main job is just to drive. Mine, I get breaks throughout the day that involve me either putting a hose in a tank or offloading or something like that. So I get several breaks throughout the day. But some of these guys, they don't. Them sleeper cabs, even the flip flop fuckers. Usually they got a couple of them in those trucks. So if they do start getting a little tired, they just stand up from the steering wheel and walk in the back and wake up the guy. They're like, "Hey, the truck's driving. I have the cruise control set. You need to go sit down and drive the truck." And they ain't wasting no fucking time. So I know they got to get stressed out, especially if they ain't got nothing. They already got picked up, and they're just rolling all the way across the United States or something like that. They got to get a little fatigued, a little bit of Freightliner fever, white line fever, whatever it may be. Me, not really. And I don't know. It's really just the other day whenever I put up a podcast talking about. I was like, man, what the hell's going on? I've been cut off like 18 times today. that was that day. Most of the time when I'm driving, everything's pretty fucking chill. And it's been pretty fucking chill today. Nobody's really been bothering me. There was, I guess today, while it's still fresh in my memory, because I'll forget about this as soon as, I don't know, a couple more hours go by. There's a couple of trucks with enclosed trailers, pickup trucks, and they were doing 5 under on this 2-lane blacktop. And every time there were 2 passing lanes. There are 2 sections of that highway that have a passing lane, and they didn't get over. And I was really fucking bothered. So then we got up to where it splits up into a 4-lane highway, and I passed them, and then immediately had to get to a red light. And that was right there in Lewisburg. And then they took that highway south, 69 south. So, fuck them. I finally got around them, but as soon as I got around them, I was going to get around them either way. But I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to risk them just staying behind them, and then them, continue on that road that goes through Lewisburg, and then I'm stuck behind them, indefinitely while I'm headed over to where I need to be. What else has been going on? So last night I didn't want to go nowhere. So I got some DoorDash, and it's kind of it's a little funny, not really all that funny. It's just kind of information. I downloaded DoorDash. I've had DoorDash downloaded on my phone before, but I don't have like an account. I have no points or nothing like that. And I talked to the wife. I said, hey, I'm going to get me some DoorDash. Just, because I call her and talk to her throughout the day sometimes. And she's like, oh, let me just order it for you. I'm like, all right, that'll work. She said, what do you want? I was like, I want Brahms. I want Brahms, burgers, and ice cream. I don't want the ice cream part. I do want the ice cream part, but I ain't door dashing no ice cream to my fucking room. I'll just be upset when it's melted. So just get me some Burger King. 'Cause I didn't want pizza. At least not last night. That's what I had for lunch today. Quick Trip. But, no, I went ahead and ordered Burger King, and then I go down, she texts me. She says, hey, they should be getting close to your hotel. So I go down in the lobby, and there's this little foreign lady. She's like, my wife's name is Samantha. She's like, Samantha? I was like, it's for me. She's like, you know Samantha? I'm like, yeah, I know Samantha. She's like, no, you are not Samantha. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know. But look, what room was that supposed to go to? And she showed me, and then I showed her my key card. I was like, yeah, that's for me. She's like, okay. And so she gives it to me, and I start to walk off, and she's like, hey, my God. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What? She's like, picture. I was like, okay. So she takes a fucking picture of my fat ass holding Burger King in the hotel lobby and then sends it to my wife, because my wife's the one that ordered the DoorDash. So she got the picture. She just sent me a bunch of laughing faces and then attached the picture to a text message. I was like, God damn it. I look fucking crazy in that picture. My shirt, it's skirting out a little bit because it's, it's all stretched out and shit. I'm like, God damn it. But oh well, I don't give a fuck. I took that double quarter pounder upstairs and put her down. Or no, not double quarter pounder. It's a Whopper. Whopper with cheese. And it was pretty good, the fries, the burger, and I grabbed another little like Whopper Junior spicy bacon something. I don't fucking know. It had jalapenos on it. I said, I'll get me one of them little tiny burgers. Because even a double Whopper, normal people that fill up. Me, I don't know. I feel like I would be down back in that hotel lobby grabbing the bomb burrito, because I'd be like, I need something else. Been listening to a bunch of podcasts today. Well, yeah, a bunch of the new guys that I found the other day that I linked in the last description. I've been listening to a lot of their stuff. It's been a good time. Uh, I've listened to all their first recordings and all their newest recordings, and now I'm just kind of starting in the middle, and I'm just bouncing around. Part of me, I don't know. I do like listening to them, but I don't know if I feel like I'm getting a lot out of them right now. I'm binging their podcast, and I need to slow it down. I tried to listen to a Joe Rogan, but it's some lady talking about lead poisoning, and I almost fell asleep listening to that shit. So I was like, I gotta find something else. So I like listening to these guys because it's pretty fucking interesting. Even though it's just you kind of feel like their podcast. It's not a normal show. It's not an interview. It's just like three friends sitting around talking, which is pretty cool. Just kind of feels like you're on a cell phone call with them, but you can't speak. But it's really the Canadians up there that we got a lot in common. I'll tell you that right now. I like listening to their show. You guys should listen to it also if you like my show enough. Listen to theirs too. Uh, but yeah, just hanging out. I've had some thoughts. I was thinking earlier. I was like, I wonder. So I used to live with my buddy's dad, Tyler, and I worked with his stepmom. She ran the Casey's General Store, and she needed a pizza cook, and I was just, I was looking for money in all the wrong places. She said, "Hey, come on over here. I'll give you money if you come over here and cook pizzas." I said, "I guess I could do that." So I started making pizzas over there in this little tiny town. I guess I can say it, Waverly, Missouri. And there's a Casey's, and there's a big group of family that live. Oh shit! I'm like hiccuping and choking at the same time. They kind of run the town almost. It seems like because there's so many of them, and it's just one family. I don't really think I need to give out the name, but it's a family. They kind of run the town out there, and I worked at the Casey's. There was the Casey's, the Casey's and the bar, and so the bar served food, and obviously Casey's served food. And I'm telling you, you think it's a small town. You're like, oh, I'll just go work at the small town little, gas station. No, don't do that. It's a town of 1,200 people. And on Friday night, 1,200 people want pizza. Not a good time to be the only fucking pizza cook at the one fucking restaurant. Anyways, that's just kind of a little excerpt about that. But no, there's this family out there, and I'd see them everywhere. Like the younger kids, they would have trucks with their name spray painted across the windshield and shit. They were pretty proud of themselves. And there was this old man. He was like one of the uncles or brothers or something. I don't know. He was an older guy, but he had this baby blue Chevy truck, two-wheel drive, long bed, regular cab. OBS Chevy is like a 96-ish, according to the grill, the front grill and the dash in it. And could have been a 95, I guess. 95. They had the TBI. They didn't move over to the spider injection until 96 on most applications. Anyways, I just saw that truck, and I loved that truck. I was like, that truck is so cool. And I just remember talking to that guy all the time. I didn't work there for that long, but this guy, he didn't have nothing else going on. It's a small town. He'd just go grab a coffee and hang out at the Casey's, and I'd sit there and talk with him. And me and him became okay friends. I never got his name though. Everybody knows everybody's name there, and they feel like they don't need to say it at all because everybody knows everybody's name. But I don't. I'm a newbie. I don't know anybody's fucking name. I know your last name. I know you're part of that big family out there, but I don't know anything about you other than your truck. He's got another Buick. You know, sit there and talk to him. He's like, I love these Buicks, and whenever this one blows up, I'll just buy another one. It's got the 3800 series engine and fucking badass. I'm like, okay, cool. And talking about his truck, and other farmers and other people would come in there. They're like, man, why don't you get the newer Chevy? And he's like, if they make a newer Chevy in that color, that baby blue color, I'll get a new Chevy. But until they start offering that paint color, I ain't getting one. He's like, I love that baby blue so much. And it looked good. It was a really clean truck. And where I'm getting at is this guy, or it was later on in life. Oh, hold on. All right, we're back. So anyways, I talked to this guy a whole bunch, and then this was back when I still had a Facebook, and my aunt showed me, or she put up a picture of the family reunion in Waverly with that family, and I'm like, what the hell? So I had to call her up. I'm like, hey, what the hell's going on? She's like, oh yeah, your grandma, that was her maiden name. I'm like, oh shit, interesting. Um, and then that was kind of it. I never really looked a little further into it. It was a kind of a short conversation, I believe. And then it was, got me all the way up until today, where I was just thinking about it, and I was like, I better call her up because I've talked to her several times. I just never brought that up. I was like, hey, do you remember that? And she got into ancestry and stuff. She's like, oh yeah, we got an ancestry.com, blah blah blah. And your grandma was one of the kids over there, and she ended up getting married to a guy over there, and then they moved down near Kansas City. Um, and they also moved. They were down in the Ozarks for a little while. That was my part of my dad's childhood was down in the Ozarks, but then they moved. They all ended up moving back up north to Kansas City, or maybe they were in the Ozarks first. I don't know. But it was interesting. I kind of got a little peek into ancestry. She didn't have the shit right there with her, but I was just like, all right, do you see when they came over? Like how far back can you see? Can you see whenever they came to America? Like who was the first one? She's like, yeah. She's like, I think so. I think I can see most of that, and I don't know much about where they came from, but I know when they got here. But little bit of investigation. She said she put in the part of my family, at least on my dad's side, from my grandma and my grandma's grandma or whoever the fuck, I don't know. Scotland, Ireland, Scottish, or Ireland, Scottish Ireland. I don't know. They kind of sound the same, don't they? I always had a strong feeling that me and Fat Bastard from Austin Powers were a little bit connected in a way. So now I just kind of proved that I am slightly related to Fat Bastard. Get in my belly, Uh, anyways, they came over. They went to North Carolina, and this was back before cars. This was like the railroad was getting put in. The covered wagons, settlers, pioneers, whatnot. I don't know. I asked her what year, but she's like, I don't remember. But it might have been right around 1776. Or right, she said it. I think she said it was right around then is when they came over. So, right as America was created, she was talking about Indians. She's like, I think we have a little bit of Indian in our blood. And then my other aunt was sitting there with her, and she's like, oh, hey, so like, when they moved in, there was the Trail of Tears or something, but you know, I don't know how any of this, goes. Obviously, I'm just a fucking guy driving a truck. But she was saying something about the Indians, and there was some Indians that had to go to the Trail of Tears, but the Indians that I don't want to use the word. I don't know exactly what the fuck is going on. I might need to do a little bit more digging to figure this out. But anyways, the Indians that were in relation to my family or some shit, I don't fucking know. Just now learning of all this. Uh, where they were bought off. Instead of sending them on the Trail of Tears, somebody paid them money so they could go wherever they want, and now they're not in a national database or something. This is what she was kind of giving me information about. I'm like, oh shit, holy shit. I don't know what the fuck to make of all that. But interesting, something to look into, I guess. And yeah, so then my grandmother, her parents, her mom's side or something, they they were during the Prohibition era or times. They were able to get a license to sell bitters, which is legal whiskey or legal alcohol or whatever. So during Prohibition, she was able to sell, or her family, her dad, or my grandma's father was able to sell, legal alcohol during Prohibition, and her dad's side was bootlegging, and they lived in the same town. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm just kind of putting this together for my own thoughts. They were laundering whiskey. It sounds like they were laundering whiskey. They got the license. They're making whiskey, bootlegging it. But they're all, how they met, and they kind of, maybe they merged together, and they were like, hey, we're going to supply you with whiskey and sell it to you, and then you're going to sell it legally. It kind of sounds plausible. But anyways, that's about as far as I got with my lineage. So I started asking about some of the other people in my family. Now, I've talked to a couple of my, so it's my dad's sister's kids. So they're my cousins. Anyways, I talked about them once before, and I did get a call from one of the other ones. There's Joe, George, John, and Jim. Those are the four boys, and they're pretty close in age together, but they're all doing different stuff now. And the last one, I have not talked to Jim yet, but George finally called me. He's the one that runs the tile company that kind of left me out in the rain, but that was a long time ago, and I'm not going to hold any hard feelings. I'm going to explain the story. I already explained the story. I'm not going to go back into the story, but I'm not going to hold any hard feelings against him now, because I'm glad on where I'm at, and I feel like if anything went any different, I might not be where I'm at. And I think I'm in a pretty good spot. But anyways, I did get a hold of him and talked to him yesterday. But he's got children. There's another one of their sisters has a child, and I guess he's now homeless. He was Everybody was tired of putting up with his shit. I don't know what he's doing. These are younger. They're like 24, 21 to 25 or 6. There's some of my cousins, my cousin, my great cousins. I don't know how the fuck to explain it. They're children of my cousins. Um, One of them's homeless. One of them's doing okay. Two of them are doing okay, I think, and then one of them's in prison. And I thought I heard something about that. Can you? I was like, if it's a sore subject, don't bring it up. She's like, no, not a sore subject at all. Turns out he got in with a bad group of people, some real nasty ones, and they did and he had already been in trouble with the law a couple of times in his life, and he was on some sort of a program where he could not be in jail, and he was on probation or something like that, and he got caught with these guys, and they ended up doing some sort of a home invasion type shit, or maybe not a home invasion, but they did rob somebody in some way, shape, or form. There was a firearm involved, and now he's got like 3 more years left, which is crazy. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's not crazy, but it's just like, wow, there's somebody in my family in jail right now, and I know I've had other family members in jail or prison, but they've all kind of cleaned themselves up and they're doing all right now. And I've even with my buddy's dad, he was in prison for a while. The guy that I popped kettle corn with, he was in prison for a while. Um, I don't know anything about prison, but I know some people that have been in there, and they all seem like pretty decent people nowadays. But now, one of my cousins is one of those guys. Um, and I don't know. I guess he's not very big, and probably has a big mouth on him. And I don't know. They said that he had to move prisons because he was not being treated too good at the prison he was at. So now he's out at a newer prison or something. I'm like, Jesus, not good. Maybe that'll scare him straight, or maybe that'll indoctrinate him in, and now he's gonna feel weird when he's not in prison. But it's just crazy to think that somebody so young is in prison. And from what I know of him, we I haven't seen him for a very, very long time. And I know people grow up and they change, but last time I saw that kid, he was a little kid. And just, he was a little wild thing, but uh, I didn't see any indicators that he was going to turn out the way he turned out. And one of them's homeless. Uh, didn't see any way that would turn out either. Especially that one. Especially that one. That one comes from one of the wealthiest people in my family. Is his parents, and maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Um, so yeah, I got a little family update here. We learned a little bit about what's going on, past, present, and future. Um, I was like, yeah, my family's doing all right. My son actually today is having a ceremony at karate. He is moving up to green belt. This is amazing. Um, so proud of him. Now, I will say they kind of, I think everybody gets a green belt unless they're really not showing an effort. But My son's really showing an effort. Maybe his moves could be polished a little bit, but hey, that's why he's in there. And as he moves up, the belt's going to get a little bit more difficult, and maybe he won't move up to the belt after green. You know, once you're a green belt, I feel like, hey, you should probably, you got a little experience, okay? You know how these moves are. You know what you're doing. You go come here once a week, every week. You know how to do this shit, okay? Show him that you know how to do that, and you can follow directions and stuff. Luckily, he's got a friend in there, but I have noticed him and his friend like to sit there and chat, and he'll look back and see me, and I'm like, put my fingers up to my eyes, and I'm like, watching you, pay attention, do what you're supposed to do. And but yeah, he's having the ceremony tonight. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to go to that. I thought if yesterday I was able to get everything loaded on the truck, I was going to go. I was going to be able to go to the ceremony. But since I got another half load here, I'm not going to be able to go. But that's fine. I mean, I'd like to go, but speaking of my work and what I'm doing here. Showed up out there. I got out to the job site around 10 o'clock. We got the guys out there. They got the double rail. Um, they got the double rail. They got a regular roll off truck. They got because they need to move the boxes around a little bit. They got a guzzler, and then they got the power washer and the pickup. And I had to kind of work with them. I'm like, hey, I got a big tanker truck. I got to pull in there and grab a load. I need you guys to leave me a little bit of room somewhere. And they did, which was nice. So I was able to just back up in there and suck the rest of the liquid. One of my hoses, I think it got some solids in it, and it's a heavy-ass hose. So I know there's something stuck inside of it. And my vacuum pump it was working really good for a little bit, and then for some reason it just started not working so good. And I think it's something to do with one of these hoses I got, but I had to run extra lengths of hose because I ended up parking behind the tankers, the frac tanks, instead of in front of it, and I had to run an extra hose. So that might have something to do with it, maybe not. I'm not sure, but I got as much sucked down as I could. I'm estimating 2,000 gallons. I think I got 18,000 pounds, roughly, worth of product on the truck. So, I think that roughly goes to 2,000 gallons. I know it's only like halfway loaded. And I definitely got some solids in this one. But I went ahead and booked my hotel. I'm headed there right now, Alva, Oklahoma. I just went through Caldwell. Headed on over. Got my hotel. Gonna go get me my burger. I don't think this injury I got on my face isn't super noticeable. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to just hurry up and eat and get the fuck out of there and go to the hotel room and hang out. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. Stayed up kind of late. Woke up pretty early. So, but then, I had to take a shit, and I wanted to sit down and eat breakfast, and I had some other things I had to take care of in the morning. So I woke up early, but I didn't get out and get going as early as I possibly could, It's just kind of slowly moving around. I knew I was like, they aren't clean. The frac tank that I was working on today, they aren't going to clean it today. So, I didn't need to, it wasn't like I had to get there and get the product removed. And I was going to hold them up on what they're doing. They're working on the other one. And by the time I showed up out there at 10 o'clock, they got there at 8. At 10 o'clock, they were halfway done. So luckily, those solids, they didn't set up too bad. He said he had like 3 inches of that 29 inches was pretty hard, but the rest of it was just sludgy. So they're vacuuming it up with the vac boxes, and I don't know. And I also don't know if they're going to put another load in that frac tank or not. So, because I would really would love to continue to do this job. I thought just the way things were going, they were like, oh, we're going to get them emptied out and get them cleaned. And I thought that meant the job's over. But they were like, oh, we're going to have to just start scheduling 2 loads instead of 3 loads every week. And I'm like, huh, okay, you guys are still going to do this. Interesting. That would be very nice. Because even doing 2 loads versus 3 is still better than doing none. Because I like doing this route. I know every inch of this road I've been on. Just about, I've been on every inch of this road. I've ran this road up and down. This is my 4th week doing it, this year, but I've done it many times before. I know where I'm staying. I know where I'm eating. I know where I'm going. I know I'm doing a good job. I'm having no problems. The only problems I had was I had some tires that weren't looking too healthy, but I made time and I got them replaced. Now tomorrow, oh birdie, tomorrow all I got to do is wake up, go over there, drive for like 45 minutes south, get to my place, get offloaded, and head on back home, and then go home. But I did just that's what I had to pause a little bit ago for, was my buddy texted me and said, hey man, I need to borrow your truck. I said, no, not a problem. The keys are inside. Just talk to the wife. Because, whenever I did that rescue episode, that was because his fiance's car shit the bed. Isn't doing too good. Something's wrong, either alternator or battery or both. I don't know. But he said that he looked it up and he cross-referenced the engine, because he went and he found a bunch of the little car that his fiance's got. He found a bunch of them, but they were all missing either the entire engine or the alternator. Every single one of these little cars. So he ended up cross-referencing it, finding a different car that has the same motor, found one that had an alternator, bought it, took it home, and it's wrong. I'm like, damn, that sucks. He had to take the whole day off. He was hoping to get everything finished today, and it sounds like that's not going to happen. So luckily, I got an extra vehicle he can borrow, and so he can get done what he's got to get done, and his wife, fiance, can run his car, and he can run my truck, and they can keep on boogieing around. I love having enough vehicles. I love being able to help people out. It's not a fucking Maserati, but it is a 1992 Chevy pickup truck, 5-speed manual. It's got a V6, but it's got the exhaust chopped off, so it sounds okay. And it looks like a whole hunk of junk, but it's a good old truck. It's a good old truck. Glad I got it. I got the bike at the shop, or at my shop right now, so I'll be riding that home tomorrow, and hopefully he can get everything figured out, because if it rains, I'm going to need that truck. I'm going to need that thing back. I don't mind letting somebody else use it, but if the weather's going to be bad, hey man, I need that back. I need to get to work too. The bike in the rainstorm isn't something I'm particularly excited about doing. But yeah, that kind of gets you guys up to date on me. Just living my life, driving around, having a good time. Kind of trying to. I'm not even hungry, but I'm gonna have to. If I don't eat, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna be stuck in my hotel room just gurgling. Fucking my stomach's gonna be like, it's time to eat. Why aren't you feeding me? You know, and I don't want the bomb burrito tonight. I'm gonna pass by one of my most favorite diners I've ever known about. Probably it is my favorite diner. I don't have any other diners that I go to that are my favorite. This is the one diner I go to, and it happens to be my favorite one with the best fucking burger in the world. And hopefully I can get hungry by the time I get there, so I'll actually really enjoy it. Maybe I'll get it to go and I'll just take it to the room. I don't like burgers and fries sitting in styrofoam, even for just a few minutes. It does something to the food. I don't know what it is. I don't like it, but that might be what I end up doing. Take it to go to the room, chillax for a while, hang out. Keep all 18 down. Adios. We'll talk to you later.